So what's going on, guys? We were gonna harvest this little bean field here, but the issue is it's not ready to get harvested. Some of it says it's ready, others part of it says it's growing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna probably start on this big field here, and I'm not real sure how to best do this. We'll probably set up shop. And start. I don't know. Last time the course play kind of. You know what? Let's start with that. We'll see how course play kind of handles this. I'm just gonna pop in the field here, and so I can generate a course. All right. So. Wonder why it's not letting me. Can I not? Can I not? Oh, here we go. So we want harvester, combine. It's probably just field work, right? Probably need our combine to do it. So we're gonna go down to where I think we're gonna start, and then we'll go from there. We'll figure everything out. So we'll get our caravan going. What's going on, Dylan? Lincoln, country boy. Alright, so we kind of skipped through the night here. I figured the beans were kind of going to update, but they didn't. So, anyways, kind of avoided a night harvest video there. And I figure we're going to start on this big bean field. Since this thing is ready to go and it's going to take us a while to harvest that. We'll probably have course play run the combine and the grain cart, and then we can kind of hop in and do things manually if we want. I know these course play followers don't really handle the best when they're taking turns, especially these combines for whatever reason. Want to make sure our grain cart guy makes it. Looks like he's making it fine. Alright, so we have a couple of field entrances here. This is one of them. We might as well just kind of start right here for now, until we kind of figure out what course play is going to do. What's going on, AJ? Alright, kind of before we start, let's get a picture here of how many bushels of beans we have. We have a little over 1,500. So that came off of 55, which was 13.69, and that's 1551.9. plus whatever was in here plus 138.54. So that's kind of what we got. Alright. So, Courseplay is probably gonna throw a fit here when we try generating a course, which is fine. I just kind of want to open up an entryway here. Also, big shout out to Cole. We got our chop straw issue fixed. And now it functions the way it looks and functions the way it's supposed to. Now you can see it real good here. And the issue was pretty simple. Forgot to add in that shapes thing for the block IDs. So, anyways, wasn't a big deal to fix. Okay. Do I have a website? Nope. Don't have a website. So, this is what we're going to do. Let's calculate our working width here. Let's bump that down a little bit. Oh, maybe not. So we want to do, I don't know, probably 3 headlands. We'll do those first. Starting location. Let's go northeast. Starting direction. Let's go south. Simple. Let's try to generate this thing as we let it sweat it out. It is a 600 series combine. From custom modding. Just with a little bit different texturing going on here. So I'm not really sure where I want to set up my unload point. It may make sense to actually start on the southwest actually. Generated, but there's some issues. Let's see what this course looks like. It doesn't look too bad actually. It looks pretty reasonable. I'm just kind of curious where the starting point is. See if we can find out where the starting point is. Okay, the starting point looks like it's kind of behind us a bit. So we're going to go ahead and save this as 12 Draper. What's going on, guys? A lot of new names here I'm not used to seeing. Got the Mr. Blowfish N8 the Great. AJ. My mods are on Mod Hoster. There's a link to it at the top of my Facebook page, and it's even in these videos. Even in the live stream. It has all the links there. So we're going to have a little bit of redundant efforts here, which is fine. I am just going to work my way up to the starting point of this course, which is just right up here around the corner. And then he's going to kind of go around and do the same thing that I already did. The Semstone concrete plant. It's harvest time today on the live stream. We're starting to tackle this large 308-acre field. So this is actually where the field wanted to, the course play wanted to start is up in this corner here, which is fine. We could have kind of had it start where we were. Still not sure what I'm gonna do for where I really want to set up the trucks and the grain cart and things like that. We'll have to kind of figure that out here. The field that took me 5 streams to plant that's this one that we're starting here. We should get a pretty good yield on this. It was plowed and it's fertilized. So. Combine convoy. I wonder what that is. Let's have this thing engaged. Headland smooth, simple. So this guy's gonna get going here, and then eventually we're gonna... Yeah, this is the field across from where we were harvesting last night. Here comes our combine. So we were trying to harvest that little field right here. It's 15, but the one we were harvesting last night was right over here. So This is the field we harvested, so you can kind of see how they compare in size. The one we're currently in basically dwarfs that. I think this is the biggest field on the map. There's probably 2 or 3 other ones that are fairly close. I would say within 20 acres or so. Um, but there's also a lot of fields that if you choose to do so, you could really combine a lot of fields here. You know, cut down some trees and make some massive fields if you really want to put in the effort. So this guy is going to be doing 3 headland passes, and then we'll eventually get to the point where we can um, start harvesting. So there's another field entrance over here. So I figured that we could set up like the unloading points right here, because you can really get access to all parts of this field from over here. Except this little cutout section. But the other field entrance, field approach, is down here. It may make sense to actually put it down here. That way we can go right from this field to this field. That's probably what I'll end up doing, actually. And then we could just start the course down here. That way it ends up there, and then you can go right over to 15. That's really what we should have done. But really the first season, we're kind of harvesting this field, so kind of make your mistakes and learn from it. Doesn't really take much effort to make a new course. So what I think I'll probably end up doing is, making a couple courses for the trucks, and I probably don't even need to make a course for the trucks because we're not going to be shipping out that much grain from this field. Pretty easy to keep up with that manually. Got a girl in a tank top harvesting her beans for us. Yeah, tiling, that would be something. That'd be pretty advanced. I wouldn't mind if they incorporated some kind of soil compaction. Um, there's a lot of things they can really, a lot of things they could do, honestly. Nope, never got around to harvesting that field. I fast forwarded to the morning and it still won't let us harvest that field, so it may need another day or two. Sometimes when you fast forward, seasons kind of gets a little funny. And so I kind of saved the game and reloaded it, and still no dice there. So we kind of moved to the big field here that we know is ready. And then we're just gonna have to run around and chase this thing with our grain cart here. I'm not too sure how far it's gonna get, but ooh, glare from those truck lights. So we're basically going to be running around on cart duty here for a couple laps, and then we can kind of get a course set up. And we could also just set up a course and have course play kind of figure it out. But one thing we did fix is the chop straw, thanks to Cole. Such a silly little simple thing, but looks a lot nicer now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna wait till the end of harvest. I think I'm gonna kind of get the ripper going here, our chisel plow. Mostly because I'm worried about how cold the temperature is getting. The field temperature is already 34 degrees Fahrenheit here, and it's getting colder. So we really need to get that thing cracking here, because we probably only have another two days until the ground gets to the point where it's frozen and we can't actually rip our fields that need to get plowed. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to catch up to this combine here, and then we're really going to have to get that RX going in these fields that need to get ripped here. Ultimately, I really wanted to start harvesting the fields that needed to get ripped. This field's already been chisel plowed. We really should have switched over to corn. That small little cornfield, but oop, what am I doing here? So what I want to do is I want to unload this combine so it can get going again, and then I'm going to get that chisel plow going, because we really can't be messing around with that. Got to get these fields plowed here. Otherwise we're going to be doing it in the spring again, which isn't, the worst thing in the world. have a lot of ground to play up. So it should be simple enough. We're gonna hop in our chisel plow here. Where do we want to start this course? You know what? Let's start it over here. Since it's super close. We'll have course play calculate a field for us. Yeah, this corn ground's looking a lot better with that new chop straw. We're gonna go to field work. Our working with is 8. We're on field 1. Starting location, current field position. Let's do 4 passes. Smooth turn, radius, round. Let's try this. I wonder what the round does, turn radius. See if that's any better here. Let's do simple. We're doing the headlands. Let's do headlands last. So, end location. Where do we want to... Okay, let's do headlands. That way it will allow us to start where we want to. And then our direction, let's go south. Let's calculate this course and see what it looks like. It's not the worst thing if we can't start over here. Maybe it might start us out in the north, the other side of this field here. When you're running an implement that's only 8 meters, it puts down a lot of data points, especially in. Am I going to no-till any? It's a possibility. We only need to do some fall tillage on a couple fields here, and then we're gonna come back in the spring and use our disc and just kind of get a spring, a seed bed. So we chisel plowed quite a few fields last season, so two of our biggest ones. This is the next big one that didn't get it, so we'll start here. As we wait patiently for course play to calculate a course for us. Yeah, the compaction wouldn't necessarily need to be all that advanced. It could just like track where the vehicle tires were, kind of like the fields where it tracks like what's been fertilized and what's been harvested. It could track like the compaction of your tire. And then there'd be a difference between like a cultivator and a disc ripper, Alright, so that's not too terrible of a course. Actually, that's going to work out pretty good. We're going to save this thing as 1:27:30. I didn't want to do my headlands first, but it just turns out it's a little bit easier to generate a course that way. So, what can you do? So we'll see how good this does. If it misses a lot, then we're gonna have some issues. Looks like it's taken some pretty relaxed cornering here. So we got our ripper going, great. We're gonna get our combine going here again. So I'm just gonna follow this combine here around the field for a bit. So once we get a couple headland passes in here on this field, things should be, you know, pretty automated with courseplay. And we can just manage and then, you know, maybe run the grain trucks. You know, one thing I should invest in is that 2100 V ripper or 2100 minimum tillage ripper. We could probably pull that with this tractor and just rip our bean fields. No need to do a chisel plow on our bean ground here. So after we wrap up this bean field, we only have that tiny little bean field left to go, and then we'd be done with beans. We do have one, you know, fairly decent size cornfield that hasn't been chisel plowed yet. That we should really get the corn out of that field before. But we also need to do the same thing on 15, so. So I had my 2100 ripper and I had my 2730 rippers, 11 and 13 shank. Working on some smaller combinations, 7 and a 9 shank. I think next time I harvest this field, I'm gonna actually start the field down here. That way, you know, it's right next to this other field, these other two fields. Checking in our disc ripper down here. This guy's doing a pretty good job. Guy's just chopping up all this corn trash here, getting this field ready to plant in the spring. So this is that cornfield that we spent all that time harvesting. It's gonna take this guy a couple hours here to get this whole thing chisel plowed. That's some nice, rich looking soil. Some nice long passes. Missing a few spots over here. I definitely don't think I'm going to pick that option next time. The radius for the turn. It's missing a lot of ground with that. Yeah, I'm sure they have irrigation units on, you know, as many fields, you know, and I'm sure they try to tile fields if they can. So this irrigation unit is actually going to be in the way here, so I'm going to kind of hop in this thing and move it a bit. just to get the wheels out of the way. So it's back in the grassy patch. So the guy's at 67% here, so we're gonna hop in our tractor, catch up. So this is a 370. It should handle this cart, you know, fairly well. It's not like it's a 1500 bushel cart. Can't even see the combine with all that dust. Oh, this should work out. This guy's got a nice stretch here. We should be able to unload on the fly here. Try to get some good snaps here while we got the opportunity. You know, sometimes what I do is if I really want this guy to kind of like unload and not have to stop him, I'll just kind of cut in front of the header a little bit to block him. That way I know he's gonna unload and then I don't really have to worry about it. because this combine used to unload at like 400 bushels a second, so I changed it to 134, kind of what it's supposed to be at. So it takes a while to unload this 400 bushel bin. Very curious to see what what our yields are on our fields. Just for an idea, I'm gonna have to figure out here bushel to hectare to acre conversion, and then when we have 13.69 hectare, which equals 33.828 acres. So this guy's empty, which is great, and then I can figure out our bushel from that last bean field that we just harvested. It was 49.97 bushels for our soybean. So that's not too bad. It wasn't plowed, and I think it only had like 1 or 2 fertilization states. So I definitely think this field we can probably get over 60 bushel beans, which would be great. For sure. What's going on, Miles? So as we tab on over, this guy's, still. I haven't got a whole lot of pictures with this Draper. Anyways. This guy's on pass number 2, so he's just kind of ripping away here. Kind of wish he would turn on his lights, because I think that would be a little bit better for pictures and whatnot. This thing looks badass. It looks a lot better now that the green matches. I think I actually may have made the diffuse a tad bit darker. Hard to say. Anyways, this guy's gonna keep ripping this field for us. And then what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a final pass and clean up this edge here. Do the crate field function. So I smoothed the hills out a little bit so they weren't as drastic, because this really isn't that hilly of a field in real life. I mean, it's pretty more. This looks a little bit more accurate to what it actually looks like in real life. Just kind of blended in the terrain a little bit more, so it wasn't as dramatic. There used to be like a tax mod that, depending on how you would get taxed on how much stuff you sold. And you'd also get taxed on how much land you owned. So that was kind of a cool little mod. It's got on OFG Gaming and Penn's Farms. I think I'm done with the screenshots for now. So I imagine this guy's going to be in this field for a couple hours here. Says about 3 hours at this rate. Right around there, that's kind of how much he has left. It's not that big of a field, it's only 93 acres. Okay, we're gonna hop back in this guy and we'll probably cut through where this pivot kind of ends here along the field, the fence line. We're up to 74%, so we're getting pretty full. So we'll just cut through here when the combine gets around here. Cutting it close on those tires, that's for sure. This guy has 11 hours left, so we're gonna be in this field for 11 hours, harvesting these beans. So basically a whole day, in game time, we're gonna be in this field alone. So just an FYI, the next couple streams are just gonna be harvesting beans in this field. Oh, are we gonna hit? Oh, did we hit? I'm not sure if we hit. I think we made it. I think it's stuck under there. This guy will probably make it up to that starting point. Thanks for the subscribe there, James. As appreciates it. So before I leave this field with this ripper, I'm going to kind of take it around and kind of manually expand this field a little bit with the create field feature and kind of clean up some of these edges here. Anyways, we're going to hunt down this combine again and probably unload it as it does its second headland pass. This thing is starting to struggle a little bit now that we're getting into some elevations. The 370 is showing its true colors here. Gonna have to wait for this guy to go around the side here. Whew. Got to clean out that radiator later. so I'm probably gonna unload this thing and been streaming for an hour here, so I'll probably call it a night. Can always pick up on this later. Alright guys, thanks for watching.